Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the basics of oxyacetylene. The left tank is the acetylene tank, that's a fuel gas, and the right tank is an oxygen, that's more of an accelerant, and together they produce a very hot flame. Okay, so I'm going to show you, this is a welding tip. It's a smaller tip. Different sizes can be used to weld different thicknesses of metal. This is a cutting attachment on a journeyman style torch. It has a lever there for oxygen. And then this is a rosebud. Okay, it's a little different. It has 6 preheat flames. Some of them are different. Now I'm going to show you guys cutting. So I just lit the flame. It's very important that when you set the oxygen and acetylene ratio that you get the flame right. You can see me doing that here. And I'm going to preheat that plate at the end just a little bit. And I'm going to start my cut. Now when it gets to kindling temperature, I'm able to use a chemical reaction that occurs when I hit that oxygen lever. I'm not melting the metal, it's actually a chemical reaction going on that allows me to cut straight through the plate. And when done properly, it works really well. And I'm going to talk a little bit about preheating. So I'm going to go ahead and preheat this block of metal, or actually get it up to like red hot temperature. And I'm doing that with a rosebud attachment, which is that thicker copper torch tip like this with 6 preheat flames. You can use any cutting, welding, or heating attachment to heat up metal, but the rosebud is specifically meant for that and works very well for that purpose, especially when you need to heat up an area really, really hot. And if it's a thicker, large area, it speeds up the process. So you can already see it's already starting to heat up that metal red hot by the flame. But as I work it across, it will heat up this whole block red hot. And this is really useful, especially when you're welding special metals like high-strength steels, where they need to be preheated to certain temperatures. There's other uses as well, like bending pieces of metal. You can do like ornamental work, that sort of a thing. Now I want to show you, when you heat something up red hot, you'll see it turns black, and that's a mill scale. It's an oxidation that occurs when metal reaches a certain temperature and it's not protected from the atmosphere. So that's kind of like mill scale. I'm going to do a quick demonstration of welding. Welding and brazing with the oxyacetylene process aren't as common anymore, but they're still used, and it's still a good skill to know. Because think about it, oxyacetylene, you don't need electricity. You can take it anywhere. As long as you got those 2 bottles and you got gas, you can weld all day long. So this is 1/16 sheet metal. It's pretty thin. And this is one use for oxyacetylene, is just the fact that you can weld pretty thin metal similar to TIG. And that's the demo I'm going to show for you guys today. So I'm going to do a couple tacks. This is thinner metal. I might be using a little bit more tacks than necessary. But what you don't want to have happen is for that metal to warp, anything like that. So I do put a good amount of tacks on there to lock it into place. Maybe this is a little too much, but I just wanted to emphasize you really need to tack your material. So I actually put 5 tacks on this, 2 on the end and then 3 along the middle. Notice with oxyacetylene how hot it gets. Everything around gets heated up to a pretty elevated temperature, and that puddle is red hot, and it stays that way for a long time. It is somewhat slow, especially compared to the other processes. It's probably the slowest. And you can see me just working along just like that. It's kind of relaxing, and you just work at your own pace, okay? But again, you can see this whole piece got red hot right down the middle, and then that mill scale or oxidation started to form. So just something to know, but that's kind of a good demonstration of welding. It's thin metal. You can see it already warped a little bit. There's the back side. I got a little penetration on the back side. So yeah, that's just an overview of oxyacetylene, the basics of welding and cutting and brazing. Thank you.